Should I just go right over there?
Come on. Hi, everybody. So we were going to do something funny, but it didn't work because my dumbass pressed the button like completely while Scott was talking. I was going to have Scott Newgent come on a virtual podcast, but Scott did us one better.
Hello! Hello!
Scott, you guys, Scott is here all the way from,
Crazy land.
I'm not going to say. Haven't we all
You've been
there?
Yeah, I live there.
Done that.
I live there.
The mayor of Crazyville. I'm the mayor's assistant.
I know. You are the mayor.
Oh, crazy. Maybe I am. I don't know. I got to show the comments here. Hey, everybody. Belislav this is my right hand person. He has been with me since, day one. Oh, from some odd country. I don't remember.
Miss Moonlight, hello.
And Dorinda Davis. Hello, Dorinda. That's one of my dear friends. She's from Florida. She's trying to get me to move there all the time.
Oh, Florida's awesome.
Isn't it great?
Mm-hmm.
Except DeSantis lives there. But that's all right. Hi, everybody. Hello, Miss Moonlight. All right, Scott Newgent. You probably recognize Scott from...
What is a woman?
What is a woman? Matt Walsh, the black sheep of the internet lately.
Why do you say that? He's kicked off. I don't keep up with that stuff.
So anything that you do pertaining to Matt Walsh on YouTube, demonetized. They want nothing to do with Matt because they call him. You've had interactions with Matt. Now, did you get the sense that Matt Walsh was this, I don't know, a giant oppressor, this hateful human being that they make him out to be?
No, I think when I did the interview with Matt, I think that they didn't tell anything about me. And Matt just sat there and I remember his face like this.
Was he confused?
Yeah, and he was like, I don't know what to say. You don't know. You know what? We all have our personal opinions about things, and Matt has his personal opinions about things. But you know what? The core of Matt is a nice person.
Yeah.
I've worked with him on different projects, and I've told him to pound sand a couple of times, and vice versa. And you work past it. It's called being an adult.
Yeah, absolutely. We were just discussing that earlier about having healthy dialect, healthy debate. Even if you guys don't agree, it's good to have that dialect, that dialogue between you guys so that you can get over things and have that healthy discussion. I think too much said in the world I think everybody is so hyper focused on their side, their beliefs, and screw everybody else's.
Well, it's like a whole bunch of 40 and 50 and late 30-year-olds that are in high school, and they're leading the politics. They're leading the mainstream media, and it's just kind of like once you get there and you see all the people that are leading, you go, holy cannoli, we're all in trouble.
Right. So, absolutely. We're in a shit show where our boat is sinking fast. We have to get it together.
Yep.
I thank you for coming all the way here.
Of course.
I'm a very fortunate person. I got to meet Scott for the first time at Pride St. Louis, and you ran into some little hiccups there. You have the Rainbow Rebellion. The Rainbow Rebellion is your organization. What other organizations do you have, Scott?
Well, I've started the Rainbow Rebellion. I've got Trey Voices. I've got kind of like a speaking tour that's starting in the fall. And you know what? I call myself a one note organization, which is stop the medicalization of children. Period. And that one note has kind of chimed into two notes now, which is, get the LGBTQ out of the school system. We don't belong there. So
that's good one. You guys right there down on the screen. If you want to help Scott in any way, I want to plug it right away. Doing a lot of people are so busy and you guys can't get to school board meetings. You can't go. No, don't. Oh. You can't go, all around, and Scott's going to be speaking all kinds of places. Needs the help. Donate what you can. I think I got a free shirt coming from what I think Rainbow Rebellion or Trey Voices.
I have it upstairs.
You do? You?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was like, give it to somebody because I have some, but I'm going to wear that. Oh my God. I feel so honored that you brought that.
Well, it's extra large. So it's like a sleeping shirt. Right?
Is it?
Yeah.
It's like a flag.
Yeah. It'll make you really go, God, I've lost weight.
So at the Pride event that you were at, you go to many, but the St. Louis one. Now I flew in after Pride, so I really didn't get to experience that. Lucky I wasn't there because I'm one of those loudmouth Italian chicks that I'm like, let's do this. I'll probably go back to jail or something.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3
No,
years.
that's not good.
Take the prison or the girl out of the prison. The prison out of the girl type thing.
Yeah, thank God you weren't there. Right. No, just.
Right. That was absolute pandemonium.
Yeah.
But not like I'm grateful it didn't get like really violent or anything, but what is the worst of the worst that you've seen or been involved in where it has gotten violent? Have you seen anything like that?
I've seen it on videos. And it's the thing that I talked about, Chris, who helped me kind of organize this as well. That there are people that are in this to get video clicks, to get likes, to get money, and all that kind of stuff. And then there's people there who are trying to actually save kids. So as a leader, you have to make sure you realize who you're talking with is there for the right reasons. And if you have something comes up, you want somebody that kind of de-escalates that.
Absolutely.
So in my organizations, I mean, I've had Antifa charge, and you know what did I do? I just started crying and thanking them for being there. We're all Americans. Do you want to talk? And they left, so we're kind of at that place where I pull that away, that if there's any possible way that cannot happen, I'll kind of pull that away. So I haven't had anything like that happen. Now, I didn't get into Pride. So we had the fruity tooties of all fruity tooties. We've got like dudes dressed like girls. We got me. I'm a lesbian. My kids call me Super Butch. And we weren't gay enough to get in. So, it's gotten to the point where, without getting on my soapbox, it's kind of like, the left is right here. The right is right here. If you want to run for any kind of thing politically, if you want to do any kind of activism at all, get in your spot. And then we'll promote you and, give you sponsors and all that kind of stuff. But it's the people in the middle that really make a difference. It's the people in the middle that kind of stand alone and go, stop being a kid over there. Stop. Don't say that. Like the adult, this is, let's adult better. Now, what's the problem? And, I've done it too. I mean, I'm the first one to say, several months ago, I had an infection, and Billboard Chris, which does some amazing things. He said something like corrected me on something, and I got the little jealous thing, and I was like, yeah, well, screw you, whatever. And you just go back and say, I'm sorry, you didn't deserve that. And you kind of move on, and you go through life with it. And I wish more people would adult like that a little bit better. Yeah.
Adulting sucks sometimes, but sometimes it really does make a difference whether you can like bury the hatchet and just be like, oh shit, I was wrong. Let's move on. I'm sorry. Apology, an apology. I think when we're forced to apologize, and because we know that we've done something wrong, you grow as a human being. Yeah. You do. It doesn't matter what your beliefs are. It doesn't matter who you are. If you say, oh shit, and you realize that, apologizing goes a long way. And the way that you can tell that your apologies are genuine is that you change that part about you that's not so, confrontational and combative. But when you're going up against this agenda, they're pushing it on to little kids. You're like, how can you not be loud and combative when they're combative at you? I watched I think it was GBN news that did. It was in UK or something. They were talking funny. So
I had a really bad infection during that time.
I could see. I could tell you were not feeling well. I did a reaction video to it on here, and I knew immediately. It was before I think right before I met you, or was it right after? But I was like, oh man, Scott is not feeling too good, and still went up there and did that. And I think you were talking about how everyone was fighting here on this side and fighting here on this side, and you were like, F you to all of you guys.
Yeah, I did. I did tell both sides staff off. Yeah, I did. That was a pretty interesting kind of a place. I've been doing this for a long time, and I think people think that, What Is a Woman just started it. What Is a Woman didn't start it. I helped write the first bill, years and years ago with a politician in South Dakota, Fred Deutsch, who, he wrote it, but I had some, input in it. So all these bills that are passing, I help. I've been doing this for a long time.
When did that start, Scott? Like, a lot of people might not know your story. Like, if whatever you want to share, I leave it up to you. I'm not going to browbeat you or like demand back and forth, bullshit banter, small talk, what have you. But like, when did you realize I got to do something about what's going on?
Well, yeah, that's kind of that's a long story. I remember when I first got into this, there was a journalist by the name of Barbara Kay who's in Canada. I love her to death, and she's like, Scott, why did you decide to do this? And I said, you mean medically transition? She's, yeah. And I said, well, I was married to a very Catholic Italian woman, and who just despised being a lesbian. And the way that she comforted herself was just saying that, you know what, you're just an anomaly. It's just you're a man in a woman's body. So for years it was like, oh God, you lock the door like a man does. You do this, you do that. And so it was just kind of in the back of my head, and as a kid at 7 years old, I said to my uncle, I wanted to be a boy. And he said, well, it can't happen. Do you want an Atari? And I was like, yeah, sure. I'll take that.
The Atari and stuff.
Yeah. And so, I kind of found my own way. And as I got older, I kind of tried to fit in. And I come from a family that's kind of a glamorous family. And so my grandmother put me through finishing school twice because I failed the first time. And so second time I got through, and so I knew how to look like a woman. And I was always a woman, but my mentality wasn't kind of what a woman was. I mean, I would walk into, business, sales meetings and just, tell everybody to shut the F up. And, you could say who you F, last weekend, let's just, where's my numbers? Shut up. So it was very male. Well, no, it's female. I was a female. It was just a
Alpha.
very dominant female.
Like alpha female.
Yeah. And so, I was in that relationship, and it came to a point where we had been together and broke up and all that kind of stuff. And it was always, her family was very, very anti-gay. You're going to hell. You're going to do this. And I left her a couple of times just going, she can't do this. And so finally she came back and she said, I can do this. I'm going to do this. And she was on a call with her son who had gotten married. They were their first baby. And she just, I wonder if I'm going to be able to see my grandchild, if they know this. And it was just like the whole break came out of her. Yeah. And so, I kind of soaked that in a little bit. And it was that night or the other night that I saw, Jenner and Jennings. And of course it's not social contained yet. And so I said, God, I wonder if I was born in the wrong body. And, that was like, oh, well, maybe you are. See, I told you. And so the next week I was in front of a trans woman therapist who said, how long have you been dressing like a dude? And, I had a female business suit on. I mean, I didn't look like a woman at all. And it's embarrassing to say this, but that sentence to me kind of put me in this place where I was like, God, I've gone my whole life just past Jen, and Jen's going, God, that's a dude. Didn't know, what an idiot kind of thing. And so I had that kind of embarrassing thing. And then after that, I thought, wait a second. This will probably make me fit, right? This is the problem, right? And that's the contagion with all the children is there's all these comorbidities or commonalities, autism, mentally gifted, mentally ill, all that kind of same-sex attracted. So it's all those kind of things together that make you not feel like you fit in. And so it was kind of a celebration after. I was like, oh, I get to fit in. And I did for a couple of years. It was the best couple of years of my life with, I got to go to weddings, and the first thing out of everybody's mouth wasn't, why are you lesbian? You're attractive. You could get a good man. Why don't? And it's the whole talk where it's just like, I just would like to say, hey, how's your garden? What do you do? What do you like to do? What's your favorite beer? What do you want? And so it was kind of like a breath of fresh air. But as I go back on it, and I was talking to Barbara from Canada, and she said, why'd you do this? And I said, well, it's my ex-wife that did that because, and she's like, well, you're nuts if you believe that. And I went, well, I'm a couple sandwiches short anyways, because I thought I was born in the wrong body, but I'm doing better now. At least I don't think that. And so as I analyze it, I realized that I wasn't okay with not fitting, and I wanted to. And so medically transitioning, when you don't fit in, that's the thing that cuts into you. That's the that's like fish hook, right? And once that fish hook is in, and then you add teenage onto that, all that kind of stuff, you're not going to get that out until somebody goes through the whole process. And once you go through the whole process, it's a long process. So it's like, hey, I was born in the wrong body. I'm transgender. Okay, well, I don't feel better. This is a discovery. This is going to make me feel better. I don't feel better yet, but once I start, hormones, I don't feel better. You do that, and then, okay, I don't feel better then. And then once I get top surgery, I feel better. I'll do that. And you get to the end, and you kind of go, well, that didn't help nothing. And now I've got all these health complications, and I fit less. And it's the reason why the only long-term study, says that these kids are going to be more suicidal after, because they are. And so I'd gotten to that point, and my marriage wasn't going really well. I was angry at her. I don't think I told her about that. I was just very, very angry. And I got the bottom surgery, the phalloplasty, from Dr. Curtis Crane, who has 9 medical malpractice cases in California. Moved to Texas, where, of course, Governor Abbott takes bribe after bribe and says that he's, this anti-this. He's the worst politician I've ever dealt with. And believe me, that's a lot to say. I don't call anybody bigots. I do him. And so he moves to Texas. And after my phalloplasty, I had a pulmonary embolism that induced a stress heart attack. People don't realize that blood issues for girls on testosterone's high. So we've got 22-year-olds that are on heart and lung, heart medicine, and not just like, 1 or 2, like it's a 2. I mean, we're talking like 60-70% of them, boys that have early onset osteoporosis, in Sweden, they're finding that girls' spines aren't fusing together properly. So you see like 90-year-olds that are walk like this, right? They're walking like that at 15. They won't live past 30. I mean, this is detrimental stuff. This is not just kind of this is not a middle issue. Very few issues are black and white with politics, right? This is black and white. There's nothing right about doing this to kids. And so I had a pulmonary embolism, stress-induced heart attack. After that, I got sepsis. After that, I, have a handicap arm for life, all that kind of stuff. Long story short, started to feel better. Then I started to feel bad again. And nobody could figure out why. I lost my insurance, my house, my home, my car, my marriage, everything. And just kind of lost everything. And I wasn't able to think. And I didn't know what was going on with me. And I realized that I was starting to have infections. So I'd have to go to the ER because I didn't have insurance. And the ER would give me some kind of something for the infection. I'd start to feel better. And then I'm like, okay, all right. And then I'd start to get going. Then I'd get an infection again. And I realized and learned firsthand that this is experimental, because I had to get on assistance for healthcare. And nobody in the state knew what was wrong with me. And these were decent doctors that were just like, I don't know how to help you. I don't know what's wrong with you. I know that you're getting infections. I don't know why. I don't know how to fix it. I give you this medication and you come back. I don't know what to do. And so I realized I had to get a job. So I got a job selling, windows in people's houses. And it got to the point where I'd work 5 days and then I'd go check into the hospital for IV antibiotics. And then it got to the point where the doctors kind of just put like a sick tube in my arm. And I'd go and get that every day before work. And finally, I kind of got to the point where I realized I was dying, and I was, very, very excited about that. And I know that sounds terrible saying it, but it was just kind of like, the infections were so horrible. Like the one in the UK. Here's the thing that I think is interesting about this is that bladder infections, anytime anybody goes in the ER and they're acting nuts, one of the first things that they do is check for a bladder infection. It has something to do with, it just makes you not be able to think and all that kind of stuff. And so I understand that very, very, very well now. I mean, I told both sides on that speaking thing to F off, but it probably wouldn't have happened if I wasn't in the middle of a,
full-blown infection.
And they're so hard. You can't think. I remember, there was a time when I was looking at my car and I had these keys in my hand and I had this card. I was like, I don't know how to open it. And it was horrible. And so after that revelation that I was dying, I thought about my kids and I couldn't do that to them. So that acceptance went to kind of like a howl of unacceptance. And I realized at that time that what they're doing to people is wrong. What I didn't know is what they were doing to children. And so once I made kind of a deal with God or whatever, that, you know, if I can be here for my kids, then I'll be here for other people or out the surgery. And as I kind of got into it a little bit more and a little bit more, I realized what they were doing to kids. And so for me, that's how I got into this. It was nothing self-serving about this at all. Politics, never watched politics before in my life. Never even voted, but this is wrong.
You know, it's like a calling. Like if I was just doing the stream of what we were just talking about before we started this, The Sound of Freedom. There was a quote in that movie when God tells you what to do, when he tells you, here, this is what you have to do. It gives you that calling.
Yeah.
You just do it. You don't question it. You don't, you know, and it's so crazy, you know, what Scott has gone through your whole lifetime. And I've got to hear some stories, you know, your upbringing and who your family was. And it's so interesting. You're such an interesting human being. And the world needs you here. You know, it's not just your kids. You know, I think everybody needs Scott. We need you here, you know, and you've been through so much and just so much trauma in your life. And it's just like one thing after another, but you get back up. It's fight or flight. It's survival mode.
I don't think anybody would be doing what I am doing unless their kids were tied to it. There's only so much that somebody can get punched in the face. I mean, and here's the thing, I sit right in the middle of everything. I don't align myself with anybody.
Sorry.
Because the most effective is just being right there in the middle. But unfortunately, being there in the middle means that I'm not supported by the left or the right or this or that or this or that. Because I seem to think that everybody has a right to their own opinion. And so when you create yourself around the sub-tribe, being left or right, you got to believe everything. And for example, and I don't want to get into all of this, but the Caitlyn Jenner and the Martina Navratilova thing, where Martina is a very left person, and Caitlyn is a right person, and they're both against, you know, they're against trans women in sports, right? So, you know, here's an issue that they align on. Instead of acting like adults and say that we align on this, let's get together on this because this is important. You're an athlete. I'm an athlete. We know that this is wrong. Let's go and let's fix this. Instead, it's almost like they want to cockfight. Like, I want to be the biggest on this side. I want to be the biggest on that side. And then the whole issue's wrong, right? So Martina is for all these left politicians and Caitlyn is for all these right politicians. Well, why can't people have differences of opinions on this? No, it's okay that Caitlyn agrees this way. And it's okay that Martina is this way. But together on this one issue, they align. So why don't we take issue by issue? Right. Instead of this big, huge, you know, political thing. And so Martina and Caitlyn, you guys agree on this. You don't have to agree on everything. Now that is called, what do I call it?
What?
Adulting.
Oh yeah, adulting.
Better. Adulting better.
Adulting the better way.
Yeah. So, and I hope that we get to that place. And it's one of the reasons why I don't align myself with anybody. I mean, I'm free to tell anybody to F off or I love you at any point. At any time. I'm not supported by nobody.
You know, it's crazy how, you know, you bring that up with Caitlyn Jenner and Martina. How do you say her last name?
Navratilova, and I love her, by the way. She is my childhood idol. I think I probably would bawl crying if she walked in. I love Martina. I really do.
Well, just so you know, I'm just playing. I can't.
Oh God, don't do that. Don't bring Martina in or a snake. Either way, I'll run like a girl.
And a tortoise.
Yeah. Too. Yeah, I don't like tortoises. I got issues. I medically transition. I got issues.
Oh, you know, I think like this, you know, I think some things just make you happy. Some things, you know, you have these childhood idols and, you know, Bruce Jenner, married into the Kardashian clan, right? Mm-hmm. Like this whole family is on TV. Nothing, right? Nothing is sacred. At all. Nothing's private. Nothing.
But you know what? Listen. I don't black or white anybody. You know, every once in a while I do. You know, and I realize that that's a wrong thing to do.
Yeah.
And I try to align. Here's the thing. I watched Caitlyn on that show, and I actually liked him. I did.
Oh, Bruce,
I
he was the
did.
most sane one of them all.
I did. I liked the way he handled things with his family. I mean, they were all like crazies over here, crazy. And then you had Bruce in the middle, and I liked him. I love the way he parented and all that kind of stuff. You know what? But it's okay for me to go, Caitlin, on this one, you're kind of not adulting real good on this one.
You know,
Not adulting real good. And here's the thing: there's enough room for everybody. There's enough room for Martina. There's enough room for Caitlin, and because we got all these girls that were stealing these awards from. I mean, I was born in 1972. In 1973 was the first time they separated, women's and men's sports, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we've only been acknowledged for a short period of time. And so your fame and popularity don't mean shit to me. What matters is these girls. And so, hey, let's start adulting a little bit better.
Yeah, absolutely. Instead of, I think it's that whole right or left thing that has let people, these identity politics, that either you're with us or you're against us. That is the mentality that they have. Yeah, it's mob mentality. Yeah. I can't stand it. I think
it is. If Martina was sitting right here, I'd be like, I really admire you about a whole bunch of stuff. I love the new look, by the way. It works for you. No, but anyways, I would, and if I had conversations with her, I can guarantee that there's going to be some things that I don't agree with her on.
Right.
And does that mean that I have to hate her? Or the fact that, Caitlin's kind of acting like an ass right now. But does that mean I have to hate everything about him? Or just go, he's acting like an ass right now. Hopefully he'll realign himself. Right. So we need people to adult better. And you know what? This is what I say, is if you're in this debate to get likes and get fame and all that kind of stuff, Save the Whales is right over there. They're taking people. We are butchering an entire generation of children, and society is laughing, or not laughing. They're cheering. They think it's about love. They think it's about this. That's the issue. So if you want to be famous, Save the Whales. Make a great speech for that. Get out of this.
Right. It sucks because when there's children involved, we have to get people from all sides. Doesn't matter who you support politically, but I think the way that they, the Democrats are pushing these laws and legislations that are pro mutilating kids,
they don't know. That's the thing, Jen. They don't know. They don't know. And here's the thing that scares me to death is we have a president regardless of whatever party he's in, we have a president that is not only pushing the medicalization of children, he's pushing surgeries faster and younger. Now, these surgeries are experimental. They cause major, major issues. I mean, these infections that I get, they are no joke. And we have a president that says faster, sooner, this is love. So the fact is that we have got the dumbest president in the entire world, or the people surrounding him are feeding him something. Either way, what I say, he's probably a decent person on some level, but he doesn't need to be running a conga line. He should be running nothing. Nothing.
No, he should be running to the pharmacy for his Geritol or something.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like he has it all there, does he? The poor guy. I feel bad.
No, he's been in the basement too long. It's sad. It really is.
It is. I feel bad for him, but
I think Obama's running things. Honestly,
you do?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, he always said he wanted that third term. It's the only way you can get it, I guess. But the Democrats that are pushing the pro medicalization of kids, and like, who the fuck is paying for this? Who's paying for the gender affirming care?
I can tell you.
Oh, you could tell me. You have a lot of info, but we will get into that another time. But how much is that? That's got to be at least 100,000 for bottom surgery. At least 100. Yeah,
I'll give you some numbers that I think it's a really short scenario of numbers, and I think it kind of aligns people with what. Okay, so in Texas in 2015, there were 22 kids that were on puberty blockers for medical transition.
How young were they? Tanner stage 2?
I don't know. But all I know is that puberty blockers are 8 times more profitable when they're prescribed to children. People don't realize that because it's a black box drug.
Hold on. One more time for the kids in the back that didn't hear that?
they're 8 times more profitable when the doctor prescribes them to children.
Why is that?
Well, they're a black box drug, which means that this is a really hardcore drug. Only take it if you need it. And then, there's more regulations because it's for children that you're prescribing it to. It's supposed to be only prescribe this drug if you absolutely have to.
It's at life or death, like puberty will kill you.
Yeah.
Like pituitary gland problems.
Yeah. So, first of all, we had 22 kids on that in Texas that were there taking that. Now that was probably between like a 3.5 and 4.6 million profit margin. There's usually like 4 years these kids are on that. So, think of like 3.5 to 4.5 million right now. In 2015, and this is all the corruption kind of encircled all around in one. Greg Abbott started taking money from a gender clinic through the Southwest in the tune of $2.4 million in 2 years. And in that 2 years, it went from 22 kids, increased 4,000%. Now, that 4,000%, remember we went from, let's just say 4 million, right? How much would you think would be astronomical for it to jump from 4 million to how much profit?
No, 98 million maybe.
It was 92 million.
92 million.
It was just under $100 million. So that jump. Now, being in business myself and then sitting back as a CEO of something going, wait a second, you went from what?
2 million
to what?
92.
And then what happens? We've got the glitter bombs, the unicorn farts surrounding us. Nobody can touch us. And then we have customers for life because once they fully medically transition, they have to be on hormones for life. And wait, we got all these celebrities that are going to get behind this. And wait a second, we can buy conservative Republican governors like Abbott. Oh my God. So
bombshell.
Yeah.
I told y'all Scott has some mighty good knowledge in this, and to go through this and then to let you know this is what's really going on here. And I've always said it too, like they would stand to lose so much money because like Scott said, gender affirming care isn't just a couple of months. It's not a couple of years, even. It's lifelong patients that these bureaucrats and all of these physicians who are paid off in kickbacks. It's kind of like Purdue. Remember when they marketed OxyContin?
Well, it's exactly like that, Jen. It's exactly like that. But here's the difference: is OxyContin didn't have the unicorn farts and the glitter bombs, and didn't have the LGBTQ. So let's go back a little bit further with this. I mean, this is all like this is a perfect scenario all the way around. So in 2015, we had the UK, UK LGBTQ, we had the American LGBTQ. We passed everything that we were going for, which is, regardless of how anybody feels about homosexuality, is totally okay with me. If you're against it, if you're for it, all that kind of stuff. Who cares? I don't care. You can have whatever opinion you want. But every human being deserves to live where we want to live, work where we want to live,
love who they want to love,
love who we want to love, and be in a hospital room with somebody we've been with for 50 years. Those are what I call righteous rights, regardless of how you feel about it. And
same, I feel the same way.
Yeah, so we won all those righteous rights. So we had all these gays and lesbians and transgender people, whatever, that were fighting for these rights. Well, in 2015, just think of activism as it is now. I refuse to be any part of any right or left or whatever. So I'm out here by myself, taping my car together, kind of a thing, because I refuse to align with anybody. Well, just think of that big, huge activism of LGBTQ. In 2015, they claimed bankruptcy in the UK. They claimed bankruptcy because there was nothing else for them to fight for. Think of all the donations are gone.
Yeah, you got all the rights. You got all
There's nothing else to fight for.
What else is?
What are you going to fight for? Are you going to fight for, pink being on the flag? I mean, what else is there?
Trans kids.
So in 2015, the LGBTQ UK signed bankruptcy papers. They did not, go to fruition on this bankruptcy papers, but they did one thing within that year. And that one thing that they did was sign with Mermaids, which Mermaids is the organization that is responsible for the gingerbread,
the gingerbread,
if you like boy,
gingerbread man.
Yeah, gingerbread man. Oh. So they signed with Mermaids, and they went from bankruptcy to a 32% year-over-year growth. Now, if anybody knows anything about business, anything at all, and you go from a 32% from bankruptcy to a 32% year-over-year growth, you've done nothing else. You get funds from the government, which the LGBTQ did over there. that would be instant. Hello, can we see your books? What's going on here?
Yeah, audit.
Audit. Yeah. So that's the bullshit. Right?
Is it?
Warning, bullshit alert.
Yep. So they signed on to trans kids. So that was the new righteous fight that we were fighting for. Now imagine the LGBTQ in all those meetings. You know, all the decent gays or lesbians. We got it. We can live where we want. We're going home. They're all raising their kids or doing their career, all that kind of stuff. And what do we have left? We have all the money mongers. And then what happens with money mongers? Money mongers can buy things like what? Pedophilia and all that kind of stuff. So then we started to infiltrate the school systems. So all of this stuff that Biden and the left, and I don't believe that all of them know what's happening. I think they're ignorant. But then we have mainstream media that goes, nope, bigot, transphobia, nope, we're not going to talk about that. Nope. So nobody's listening to anything. And you get me, I'm kicked off of Twitter 7 times. I mean, I don't know how many times I've gotten kicked off of YouTube, whatever. I tell everybody F off. You know, but and I don't do it the right way. I mean, if I was doing activism the right way, I would probably type in my car. But so that's where we're at right now, is that the new LGBTQ is trying to maintain themselves on jumping and skipping on the heads of our children.
So, and if there's trans kids, this is why they know kids are such a hot commodity that they preach would you rather have an alive daughter than a dead son, knowing damn well a parent, you're saying my child will off themselves if I don't allow them to medically transition, despite there's absolutely no long-term.
It's a lie.
Right, it's a lie. They're making tons of money off of this, and it's so scary because, you know, when I researched a little bit, the people that are most likely to off themselves are 7 to 10 years post-op. Like how you said earlier, here I take these puberty blockers, nothing has changed. I'm happy for a little bit. I go top surgery. Okay, I'm happy for a little bit. Back down. What is going on? Okay, phalloplasty. Okay, I'm happy now. And then wait a minute, I'm not happy. And then I feel so terrible because you're at your lowest. You're putting a Band-Aid over a bullet wound, and the bullet wound is not going and it's not being treated. It's festering and everything under that Band-Aid, and it's like crazy that if you speak out against it, like, listen, if you want to do this as an adult, like, listen to Scott, go to trayvoices.org so you can see where everything is on his website.
Well, we need to call medical transition what it is. We need to define it first, and to define it by telling the truth, which is this: medical transition is cosmetic surgery.
Really, it is.
You know what? It is. That's all it is. It's cosmetic surgery. It doesn't change genders. I'll always be a woman. I look like a dude. I'll always look like a dude unless I, start to get surgery and stuff and go back. And I just don't have that energy in me anymore. So call me what you want. I really don't care. But it's cosmetic surgery. It doesn't fix anything. But when you take broken, hurt people and you tell them it's going to fix something with cosmetic surgery, then we have the problem.
Right.
And so that's why the only long-term study tells us that the highest point of suicidal ideation for these children is 7 to 10 years after. But there's 7 studies that have said that medically transitioning kids is mentally, mental health beneficial. All 7 of those studies have either been retracted with "oops, we're sorry, we're wrong," or not enough time, not enough kids. But those are still the studies. And you go in and you get your packet. Here you go, Jen. Yeah, your child's gonna kill themselves. Say there's all those studies. Those are the studies that you look at. Now there should be some kind of criminal charges for that. But unfortunately, we keep going back to, in 2 years, we went from 4 million to 100 million in profit in a small little area in Dallas. Holy shit. There's a lot of money. There's so much money in this. There's so much money in this. And
people have no idea. These people that are staunch activists have no
clue
what's really going on here, is where these political leaders are paid to turn their other cheek to sign legislation. What was Greg Abbott going on about? Like, because I remember him. Nope. Marriage is between a man and a woman, period, dot. bigot, bigot, bigot. And then all of a sudden, he was supposed to pass this bill, right? What were we talking? What was that?
Oh, here's the thing with Abbott is Abbott is in my opinion is a bigot. You won't hear me attack you won't hear me attack anybody. He's the only person that I'll call. He is an out and out bigot. He's also totally two-faced. And so
a lot of them are.
I know, but he is on an epic scale. So he's against, same-sex marriage, which is fine. You know what? Here's what I don't think people understand is I'm a lesbian that looks like a man. So
you are literally a man trapped in a lesbian's body.
That's right. That's what I am. I'm very butch, as my kids say. I'm just a very butch lesbian.
We love you, Scott.
But anyways, so if somebody's religion is not okay with same-sex people getting married, then that is their religion and that's their right. That doesn't make them a devil. I don't think it's your opinion. It's called adulting better. We can talk about it until we're circles. You and I on certain things are not going to agree. But if the marriage thing with your religion, you can have that. That should be something that somebody should have without being a bigot. I don't consider that bigot.
Me neither.
What I consider a bigot is somebody that goes after somebody's rights because they don't think about, how somebody else does. And that's when it bothers me. So in 2015, Abbott started taking that money. In 2017, we had a 4,000% increase. Not this year, but the year prior, we had a bill that would have passed to ban the medicalization of children in Texas. 4 days before we had that bill hit the floor, Abbott and his team took $250,000, one check, $250,000. Within those 4 days, he pushed that bill off and he sat up and did some kind of thing about, we really need to love each other. We need to get along. People are people. So he used this to what he was basically saying is that I'm bought. I got another $250,000 check. I need the money. Can we get this bill off here? Who cares about anybody but myself? Let's get it off. But he took that time to take that. So this year comes around, and the bill comes out again. And he has to sign it now with, what is a woman, all that kind of stuff. So we get it passed. He sits on it. He doesn't do anything. And as soon as that bill comes through, he makes some kind of press conference and says, yep, I'm going to sign that bill. I'm going to sign that transgender bill. And what he doesn't say in the end of it is that I'm going to sign the banning trans women's sports bill. So it goes in, with all those kind of things, like I'm going to do that. And then he signs it the day before I throw him under the bus with the what is a woman thing. So the guy in itself, I've got more things about it, but these are the kind of politicians that need to be outed. They need to be gone.
Unfortunately, that's true. I've always said, there are bad on both sides, and people are so divided by political party that you're going to vote Republican or Democrat either way. And I urge you guys to do your research on these politicians because, they might be doing a lot for the camera, for their reputation, and behind the scenes is this type of shit that goes on that you never have a clue. No. It's terrible. I don't care if you're a Democrat or if you're a Republican. If you're doing
what Abbott
that
did was wrong.
Yeah,
Abbott's
that is
taking
wrong.
money. He's in, and Texas is the leading hub for the medicalization of children. This is the thing that the year he didn't pass, that he took that $250,000 check. The year he took the $250,000 check, pushed that bill off the floor. Within 30 days, he came out and said, medically transitioning children's child abuse. Well, it was child abuse 30 days ago.
Right.
When you took the money.
Well, and took the money just to push it off for a little bit, let some more kids get experimented on. That's what it was. It's absolutely insane. Like when I watched you on the GBN and you were really sick and you had just terrible time and it was so sad. I felt so bad, but you came out and like you said, this is cosmetic surgery. Now I have body dysmorphia. I see myself as much bigger than I actually am. And if, I've had it treated though for many years, I've gone to a therapist for many years about it. But if if it wasn't treated and I kept, I get my boobs done and then
what? Those aren't real.
What is the first thing? Scott, I will let y'all know. First thing.
Oh my God, your boobs are wonderful.
You know what? They were really good before kids. And then they went fucked up. So then I paid to get them fixed. Whatever. But
I'll own my shit.
That's right.
Those are beautiful, Jen.
That's the first thing. Hey, nice dance. I'm
Nice to
like,
meet you.
awesome. Hey, that's what they're there for,
Yeah.
you know. Hey, I like them. They're beautiful. He did a
Yeah.
great job. I'm very proud of these. You know, I, if I didn't have gone in to have that dysmorphia treated, I would have went to a plastic surgeon, got my boobs done or whatever. Then next week I'm going in to get a tummy tuck, which I've never had, thankfully not yet. I don't know. I'm not going to have any more kids, so
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. But just saying that if I were to go back in and I feel better if you would do this. Oh, well, hi, I'm back. I feel
Yeah.
better if you do that. Back in the day, and my plastic surgeon, who was one of the best in Cleveland, that's why it took me a year to get in with him. And
Mhm.
if you so much as allude to the fact that you have body dysmorphia, they're not going to operate on you anymore.
No.
I didn't even know Texas. I thought it was Boston that was the children's that did the gender affirming care the most. I had no idea.
Boston Children's Hospital does a lot of the surgeries, but Texas is a worldwide hub for the medicalization of children. And the reason why is because they have a tort reform act, which means that suing on anything that's experimental. You'll go to if you're the judge, like, hey, here's this, we're going to do this and you're going to go, okay, where's that baseline for care? And we don't have one. It's experimental. All right, we'll bring that back and come back in. So the lawyers essentially have to do the $10 million to do the baseline for care. Because remember, medical transition is all experimental except for top surgeries. So that's why you don't see all of these cases. Two is because what law firm wants to go, hey, we're going to get attacked by the unicorn farts and the glitter bombs. We got all the gays around us. Everybody's going to hate us. We're going to have no clients. And then on top of this, we'll, win $500,000 and we have to spend about $25 million. So.
Right. So no lawyer's going to touch it, especially if you're going up against the alphabet mafia. That's crazy. I want to bring up your website really quick. If any of you guys can help in any way, let me see if I can remember how to do this.
And on my website, by the way, there are a whole list of studies. There's so you can go through and pick out all these studies, and they're all 7 studies I have on there, and I picked apart how they've been retracted and stuff. So this is how you can actually arm yourself with the reality of a medical transition. So
we're gonna pull it up right now if I can remember which link it was. I should probably get rid of all of the links that literally I don't need. Oh, it's Team 4 right here. Okay, right here.
Bill Goodman on here, though, he said something about, how we all love our kids. I think there was
Bill?
Bill up there a little bit. He said
because
parents love here's the thing. Parents love their children so much that they don't want their children to be harmed. Now, I'm so glad you did a typo, by the way, Bill. That makes we're probably related. Okay, so
Bill's good people.
Okay, so here's the thing. I want you guys to just think of a therapy session. You got mom and dad, or mom and mom, or whoever. You got parents sitting here, and this is your child, and I'm the parent. And so this child goes, yeah, I'm going to kill myself if you don't medically trust this. I need to. I was born in the wrong body. I want to do this other kind of stuff. And here's the parent back here going, okay. And then I'm looking at all the, certificates from all the therapy. I'm sitting in front of a doctor, right? The head shrink, whatever. My kid's wanting to kill themselves. And so I go, okay, what do you think, doc? What do you think we should do? Well, you know what? It's better to have an alive daughter than a dead son. And at that point, I want to know what parent is going to say this. All right, I appreciate your opinion here. We're going to go get a coffin here for a little mess here. We're going to choose death for that. I appreciate, send us the bill because we're going to have a funeral here pretty soon because we're going to go ahead and let her just kill herself. Thank you very much.
So predatory.
And so that is not only wrong, I think it's criminal. It's criminal because there is no study that says that. The only study that has stood the test of time says that 7 to 10 years, these kids that were medically transitioned, 7 to 10 years, are going to kill themselves. And listen, I've been doing this long enough. I get those calls every week now. Every week. I mean, last week I had 3 that I had to try to find a mental health facility for these kids. And these are the 18, 19, and 20-year-olds that are in that 7 to 10 years. And those are the Google suicide, trans suicide. You won't see anybody that's committing suicide that is not allowed to medically transition. They're all the kids that already had,
Good point. You know, a lot of people, especially these activists out there, they claim if you don't allow your child to transition, then they're going to die. They're going to just do it. But in all action, or they'll blame the Christian conservatives, the right-wing Christian conservatives that are bullies. That is why these kids are offing themselves when, you know, it's terrible. But you guys, I need you guys to go to TreyVoices.org to help out Scott and go look at this website. I'm gonna pull it up real quick. Maybe we can go through it, and then you could talk about.
Okay, so right here,
I love this. Enough with the unicorn farts and glitter bombs.
God, I hate the LGBTQ, and I'm a lesbian trans. I'm like double quoted on the rainbow. I'm like an elder too. Okay,
you're old school.
Let me drive.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry, I'm very dominant.
You smell good.
I do. So do you.
Thanks.
Okay. So here we go. Here, this is the thing that I think is pretty interesting that parents can go through. You know, right here, this goes through. I was kicked off of YouTube, by the way. And
hold on. What happened?
Just click anywhere. Okay. So yeah, somebody told me about this. I need to fix this. You're driving again.
I'm sorry. I'm so hard.
Don't call me a misogynist. I'm a woman. I'm driving. Okay, so
now you see why I love Scott.
Yeah. Okay, so this got me kicked off of Twitter the first time. So this goes through and shows some hospitals. So when I did this, there were 5 hospitals that were actually promoting phalloplasty.
Oh my God.
Now, phalloplasty has a 67% complication rate. And we're talking like genitals gone. We're talking about colostomy bags gone. We're talking about serious things. And on top of the only surgeons that are doing these surgeries are the bottom feeders. Not the good ones are going, yeah, no, I'm not going to do this. So we got the bottom feeders. We got the bottom feeders, like Beverly Hillbillies of surgeons, you know, driving down to the Texases, you know, because they're not going to be held accountable. And then they know that the governor can be bought. So, you know, here's some of the surgeries. So I got kicked off for that. But if you go through here, though, this is some really good information. So this is WPATH, which is the World Professional Association of Transgender Health. Now, this is basically supposed to be the baseline for care. Now, WPATH has never held up in any court of law anywhere in the world. It's all experimental. It's all unicorn farts and glitter bombs. It's when you read this, you get famous psychologists going, "Oh, wait, what?"
Yeah, they always discredit themselves, actually. Dr. Marcy was just on there saying, well, all of the puberty blockers in tender stage 2
don't have orgasms.
100% of them. So the puberty blockers that were meant to get to chemically castrate the sex offenders, they work. Yeah. So they shouldn't be given to kids.
Yeah, these boys, these males that we're giving them to will never experience an orgasm, never have babies. These are serious things. And I think we're just getting numb to that. Let me say that again. These boys will never have orgasms, never have children, and we're making these decisions at 10, 11, 12 years old.
It's insane to me. Do you think this is population control or is this just money? Just money?
I don't know about that. You know, I always used to think that conspiracy theories were just, and I'm starting to believe them the more I'm into this, but I think that there's so much money in this that I think people would. So we got psychologists like this that are coming out going, wait a second. What? I mean, this guy's great. If you read his stuff, he's a good psychologist. Then we have these people over here. Like this is Jamie. Now, if anybody has ever read this article, this was a whistleblower in Missouri. Now, this whistleblower starts out the article by saying, I'm left of Bernie Sanders. I'm a queer woman married to a transgender man.
Okay.
So right there, you've lost me, right? I'm thinking, oh my God, the unicorn farts, glitter bombs are coming, right? She goes through and talks about working for a gender clinic. She thought that she was helping kids. By the end of it, you're like, oh my God. I do not get shocked. I was shocked with this article, with what she came out with, that she basically said that it's worse than experimental. And how it's worse than experimental is nobody's following these kids. So we have boys that are never going to experience orgasm, that are having intercourse at 15, 16 years old and having their total insides blown out. And she is not supposed to say anything to anybody.
What?
Yep.
How are their insides getting blown out?
Well, because they're making the vagina cavity. They have sex.
Yep. Yeah. Oh God, that is so.
This
terrible.
Is serious. This is not political, guys. This is not political at all. This is serious stuff. Okay, so this goes through like WPATH, all the kind of things that WPATH says. We we talk a little bit more about, puberty blockers, the majority of, sufferers, all that kind of stuff. You can click on anything and it'll go through and kind of tell you all about that. Then as you go through here, you'll start to look at some of the bills that I'm on. So every bill that I've touched within the state has passed. Every state I've touched.
See, this is why you need, please help Scott when you can. Please, I donate to your stuff because I think what you're doing is amazing.
Well, thank you.
Look at you in Ohio.
I know. Oh God, have you ever seen that? Have you seen that? You have not seen that. You will laugh your ass off. This has over 20 million visits on this. Where's that? Hold on. Okay, so this goes through this, but if you go through here, this is what I want to show you guys. So this is just thinking you just left the therapy session, better alive daughter than a dead son. And you go, wait a second. What do these kids have in common? Real stories, mental health. And you can click on that and then it'll go here and it'll go through all the studies on mental health. So medical transition does not seem to mental health improvements right there. So this is going to go through that.
How brilliant is that you put all of this together? Are you tweeting for me?
Yeah, sorry. Okay, so we'll go through here. And then you go back and you go, wait a second. But what do these kids have in common? You just kind of go back here. Wait a second. I'll read this. Click on that. And you go, what do these kids have in common? Oh, wait a second. Yeah, autism. Wait a second. And it sees those are all the studies there.
Oh my.
So all these studies are, and there's like parents that help me with this big time. So retracted money studies, right? I said seven studies. They're all there. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and how they were retracted. Okay. So anytime that you're in any kind of debate and you go, I call like Genie, rub the trans Genie bottle, just go here and I appear here for you. So decreased life expectancy, premature deaths, that kind of stuff.
Pulmonary embolisms. You had a pulmonary embolism, huh?
Yep.
It's a blood clot that rushes to your lungs, y'all.
Yep.
That's like, you're lucky you're here, Scott.
Yeah, I am. Okay, so we got 12 leading, but watch this. We had 12 leading complications of medical transition. If we go here, it has just been increased 26.
Yes.
So you can go here and you can see.
I'm Taylor.
That's insane to me.
Yeah. So right, it'll be here. Anyways, there's the recent study that has just been pulled into being basically, unicorn farts and glitter bombs, and they changed from 12 to 26 complications of childhood medical transition.
You did that on GBN right there.
Scott Nugent was a successful business sales executive named Kelly King, a top performer who earned various awards and recognition. However, at the age of 42, Scott made the difficult decision to transition.
But you did a good job.
Yeah.
It's the funny shit when you're like, yes.
Yeah, so let me see where we have here. This was 4.5 years ago. We wrote it only had worked on the South Dakota bill. So this is finally South Dakota passed like years ago.
Have a little bit of
so I'm driving all over.
4.5 years ago, we wrote.
You are.
Fred wrote the first bill for South Dakota, and it didn't pass.
So we get that. But yeah, it's in here is the 26, and I want parents to go to this because this gives you something that is hard facts that if somebody says anything to you, you can go, wait a second.
The new puberty blockers.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So the 12 risks has now gone to 26, and you can go through and see, these are all the risks of childhood medical transition.
Oh my.
And it goes through, and this is a study. This is the latest study that was retracted. And it was retracted because it's unicorn farts and glitter bombs, number one. Number two, I think it was like 22 kids within this studies. So they do short amount of kids, but 2 of them committed suicide while being medically transitioned in the middle of this.
In the middle of the trial.
Yeah. And
Dr. Marcy Bowers, huh?
Yeah. So here's what I like to say about this is hormones. One of the first things that people do when you go in for a mental health assessment, right? What's the first thing they do? Most of the time they're going to go, okay, well, let's get your hormones, check. Let's do this. Let's do that before we get you on, all these, antidepressants, all this kind of stuff. And they find that mental health is correlated with hormones, right? Well, when you start medical transition, you don't go. I mean, if you were going to start medical, to transition to a man, it wouldn't be like,
I just got these. I mean, I have to
listen. You know what? We're not hateful. You can have those boobs and be a man. Who cares? Everything goes. But anyways,
today, right?
Yeah, right. So when you start medical transition, it's not like they give you like, we can give you a little bit of hormones right here. They give you like 3-4 times the amount that a human female or human male produces. So not only are we giving hormones, we have to create a dominant profile for a body. So right now your body's estrogen driven. If you want to medically transition, I can't give you just a little bit of testosterone to take over that estrogen, right? To make it dominant, you got to do 3-4 times more. So we're taking these suicidal kids and we're overdosing them with hormones.
That is petrifying. Mm-hmm. That's so scary because like with cross-sex hormones, when you're introducing that and somebody's already have these mental health issues, that's going to propel them. And, have you seen the shootings that have happened lately? Do you want to bring, we can do a
well, somebody said something, and I don't hide from anything. It says here, Ebel says, from homosexuality, everything else.
Oh, it's being pushed like a trend.
No, it's like this, down below. This one, where she's comparing homosexuality with transgender. From homosexuality to everything else.
Everybody else, like a trend?
Yeah, how does that work?
It's a trend?
One is about who we're attracted to. And, we've had enough studies to realize that who you're attracted to doesn't change no matter how much therapy that you get. If a man is attracted to men, you can go through any kind of conversion therapy you want. At the end, you could decide whether or not what kind of relationship you want to get into, but that doesn't change. But then we talk about transgenderism and gender dysphoria, which actually helps with therapy. So when people say that kind of stuff, you're just perpetuating the problem. You have to separate them, and you can think anything you want about homosexuality. That's fine. But those two don't go together. So if you're talking about the kind of erosion of society because of homosexuality, which I agree on some levels, I think that there needs to be basically black and white of wrong and right. We can have that discussion, but separate it from transgenderism because you're not helping anybody. You're not saving anybody.
Right. I feel like if somebody, whoever they're sexually attracted to is their business. If you're consenting adults, it doesn't make or break me. I don't even give a shit. As long as it's not with kids, that's where I have a problem. But like when we just say these 3 simple words, leave kids alone.
I didn't know where we were going, but okay, leave. I'm with you on that one. Leave kids alone.
You get labeled the bigot, the homophobe, the transphobe. And it's like, no, adults, if you're going to do this, if this is what you want to do, make sure you know what the hell you're doing. This is like Scott said, this is cosmetic surgery, which is, I find so crazy that
Eric thinks you're looking hot.
Who?
Who's Eric?
I don't. Oh, thank.
I agree with you, Eric.
Cosmetic surgery is not covered under insurance. So how are these double mastectomies? How are the phalloplasties and the vaginoplasties covered on insurance?
Well, they're telling people it's life-saving. So it all comes back around to money. It's all coming back around to money. So when people ask me, what is it that you're trying to do? I want to save kids at the end. But there's 2 things that I'm trying to do. I'm trying to unleash the gays and lesbians to come back around, the decent ones, and run our communities. The second thing I'm doing is I'm trying to unleash the straights. And that's probably the main thing because you guys are the majority of things. I'm trying to unleash the straights and unleashing them because we have decent straight people that are sitting back that are 30, 35, 40, 45, 55. And they all lived through the catastrophe of homosexuality, of not being accepted and all those horrid, those experiences, and it doesn't matter if you agree or don't agree. You don't want anybody to suffer, and these people that were, suffered. And we saw movie after movie, and all of a sudden they're taking transgenderism and they're kind of placing it right on top. And we've got all these straight people going, well, I don't want to be a jerk. I'm pretty loving. I'm okay with homosexuality. Well, it has nothing to do with it. And that's why I got after Ibel or whatever. Probably a very nice person. Don't put them together because you're making it worse. Separate them. They're 2 separate things. So I'm trying to tell people, straight people with kids and all that kind of stuff that are sitting in the school meetings going, I don't know if this is a good idea. I don't know what to do.
Grow some balls.
What I'm trying to do is get people to go.
That was bullshit.
Yeah.
Isn't this the greatest
That's
ever?
I want to unleash the straights like this.
Bullshit detected. Take precaution.
And that's what's going to stop is when I unleash the straight people with the bullshit. You guys are the ones that have to stand up and go, nope. Scott says it's not true. It's cosmetic surgery. Nope. Abbott took the money. That's why. $4,192 million. Nope. You guys have got to find your voices.
And that is a very powerful weapon. It's a very powerful weapon, despite what you think. And when you get these trigger words thrown at you, like I love it when they call, like, let's say, I'm just going to use you as an example. You're a transphobe. You're a homophobe.
I'm everything. I hate everybody. I hate everybody.
Yes.
I don't even like you. I hate you too. I hate all you people. But anyways, go ahead.
I'm over here like, what?
I hate everybody. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's so crazy how you just get the facts on the website right below me are the facts. How your website is put together is absolutely brilliant. That takes work. These studies, all of this updates, it takes work. So if you guys would please, if you're a parent, if you're straight, if you're gay, if you know the old schools, we all need to get together. We all have to come together, no matter what political beliefs are, because this is, again, isn't political.
It's not political. It's not political, guys. It's not political. It's not. So, unleash the straights. You guys need to. And if you guys are, this is what I always say. If you guys ever are in school board meetings or whatever, and you guys get stuck, just go, Scott Newgent.
Blame it on
and then
Scott.
Step back. Just wait for me. I'm like genie in a bottle. Transit all. You rang. No, I'll be there. But you guys, if you guys get stuck, just throw me under the bus. Anytime you guys get stuck, just go, well, Scott Newgent's transgender and says that. What about that? And then step back and I'll appear.
And what I love so much, you do that. People reach out and you don't hide. You are on your own, and you help so many people.
I had a question asked. So.
Oh, what was the question?
Yeah, that's the reason why. Bill, whatever your name is.
Who had? Oh, what's the meaning of behind the arm sleeve?
Yeah,
right here.
See that's a nerve. That's from the bottom surgery.
Scott had full bottom surgery, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I was telling my mom your story, and she's like, "That is so fucking awesome. He's gonna be in my house. That's so fucking cool." I'm like, yeah. And my mother owns a salon, and I was telling her what had happened with the hair plug and everything, right? Which almost killed Scott. And she
what
goes,
now? What?
Remember
my
hair,
urethra.
The urethra, the plug, the hair.
I thought no, I'm still bald. I don't have any. No.
But she was saying, because I said the skin grafts, and she goes, well, there's hair follicles in there. Why would they do that? Why would they use that skin or on the thigh if there's hair follicles? Because these kids having these complications and stuff, we have hair follicles here on our arms and our thighs. So why not destroy the hair follicles first?
Do you want to know a story about that? I've never told anybody about this. You're supposed to get like your electrolysis or whatever. And I was having second thoughts on the bottom surgery. I really didn't want to get it. Quite frankly, I just had a bad feeling about it. I even, went to a therapist like a couple of months before. I'm like, I just don't think I want to do it. My therapist said, well, what's the difference? You're correcting a right and a wrong. You're born in the wrong body. You're either going to do it now or you're going to do it in 10 years. I mean, I wish I could go back to that meeting. I'd probably punch her right in the fucking face. But, so I didn't get the electrolysis because I thought I'm not going to do it. And so they called to go, hey, you know what? Your insurance is just paid for it because I had like a $70,000 check ready. Your insurance is going to pay for the $70,000 that was supposed to pay for everything. Went up to like $400,000 for everything. It was just without complications. 100. It's a travesty, anyways. So I said to him, my surgeon, I said, well, I haven't had electrolysis, so I probably, and I think subconsciously I was trying to like get out of it, so I didn't get it. And I went to my surgeon. I said, well, I haven't gotten electrolysis. He goes, yeah, that's fine. No big deal. And I went, okay. Something like, we'll use some kind of part of the skin or whatever that doesn't have that or whatever. And so, yeah, that was Not cool.
You
Not
know,
cool.
like I think you bring up a great point that no sane doctor in their right minds who's double board certified or who has those things called ethics would do this.
They're psychopaths. Yeah, they're absolute psychopaths. The people that are pushing the medicalization of children, they're psychopaths or they're dumb. Like I say, I mean, let's go back to Biden. He doesn't need to be leading a Congo line. I mean, the way he covers the whole medicalization of children thing, it doesn't matter how you cut it. At the end of it, he shouldn't be leading a Congo line. He's just shouldn't be leading at all.
He's just doing what he's told, I think. At any point, just blah blah blah. You know, it's absolutely crazy. Hey guys, we're gonna get cutting out here. I have to go pick up the little one. So make sure you guys visit treyvoices.org. I hope I will have Scott back. You know, Scott has lots of stuff coming up, so I don't know when I will get Scott back, but whenever he's always welcome here, you know, and I don't care how you feel about homosexuality. I don't care. It doesn't make or break me, but the main objective here is to push that aside for a second and focus on what's really important here, and that is the kids. So I want to thank you for coming on. You're amazing.
You're kind of cool too.
All right, you guys. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys soon. Bye. Your brother is gay. My brother is gay.
Somebody's gay?
Really?
God, I hate gay people.
Stop it. Love y'all. See you guys. Bye.